we are coming to the home run end of this Mentally Free Summit. And who will bring us back to the home plate is Frederica Wooten. I have the honor to introduce her so that she doesn't introduce herself. So, Frederica is a licensed professional counselor. Her work, not even reading, but her work has expanded over many years and over decades of supporting through social services, community mental health, as she often says when we're in meetings, forensic mental health. So helping those who may have been impacted by the judicial system as well. She's dedicated her career to supporting individuals facing a variety of needs such as sadness and trauma, recovery challenges. Growing up in a community where mental health struggles were often misunderstood, Frederica was called to walk alongside of those individuals and support those by helping them find healing and restoration. Frederica is grounded both in clinical expertise and deep-rooted Christian faith. She merges evidence-based mental health practices with biblical principles to offer holistic healing. As a counselor, speaker, and faith-based mentor, she is committed to guiding individuals through life challenges towards a place of joy, love, and peace. I can say that when she is in her element, things change. Things for those who are in the room, those who just happen to be walking down the hallway, that you get hit with that goodness. And so as we are revving up for this end, I welcome Frederica.
Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate that beautiful welcome. I am, a mover, so I probably do want to be over here. I will take that back. Okay. I do like to move around and express myself because it is a full system experience, all right? And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about today as it's Mentally Free Summit. Can you just give a round of applause for the I'm excited, happy, giddy, if you will. I tell people when I do this work, and even Tori alluded to it, I just love this. I believe I was created for this. I will jump, I will smile, I will laugh. I might even roll around on the floor, but somebody might have to help me get up. But it is one of those things that just breathes into me while I breathe it out. So just follow along and journey with me. Dr. Tiffany did share something very important and vital today, which is one of the core reasons why we are here. If you haven't noticed, because it wasn't necessarily publicized, that Mentally Free and Mentally Free Summit is not a faith-based event, but it is an event that was given to the earth, I believe, by the creator of the earth, which to me expands it all. And so you got to hear the experiences of each of these licensed, trained, and resourced, I'm gonna keep saying that, individuals, and how they are able to see through the lens in which they are trained, resourced, and skilled, be able to deliver you the word and the experiences that they have. We all are in one way or another in the mental health, mental wellness space, but each one had a different way of bringing the message to you. It was a different dimension. When you put all these things together, then you get to see one of the most beautiful things, which is the tapestry or the experience that I believe the Creator has for us all. How do we experience those things? We experience those things through the body, through the soul, and through the spirit that each person has been given. Now, many times we want to just focus on one part, whichever one was highlighted in your experience or whatever was highlighted around you in your environment. That's the one we kind of lean on. If you are a sports person, you may have leaned on the body, getting that physical body in conditioning or in a condition where it could do whatever it needed to do. If you were on the other side of it, maybe your body wasn't so healthy, or you had people in your world or your experience that that needed more care to their body. You still may have that focus, but that focus is because the body was broken down. The body needed a lot of medication or a lot of support to be and do what it needed to be and do. So that became the focus for that reason. If the focus was the soul, you might look around and be one of those existential individuals like, why am I here? What's my purpose? I'm like, baby, it ain't even that hard to know why you're here. But that's the conversation that someone who may be more focused around the soul might be interested in having with themselves. Then when we look at the spirit, it can go either way, right? We can go in the spirit and look at things that are in light, or we can go in the spirit and look at things in dark. Do I think that there's something wrong with either choice? In the foundation of things, no. I just think that they are having a spiritual conversation experience with themselves. What we get to see is what is the content of that spiritual conversation that they're having with themselves. How is it serving them? And so we move to that core scripture of why we're here today, which is why I started that conversation in line of talking. Luke 4:18-19. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Now I know y'all probably like, oh, that's heavy. That's deep. That's meaty if you've been in the church, right? You know the language, you know the lingo, you know what you're supposed to do. Everybody's supposed to fall out and all that and be excited. And that is true, right? Under the weight of glory. There is also directives in there. Did you hear them? That the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord has given directives. And also with those directives, guess what he's also going to do? He's going to resource you to do it. He's going to skill you to do it. He's going to ask of you and impart in you the things that need to be done. Now, if you don't have it, guess what? He's going to put it in the room with you. He's going to put it in the environment around you. And when he does that, then you have to choose of your own volition, because he can't choose it for you. He's just going to lay the platter out. You could go, because I was over here at the place, the Mexican food place that used to be Golden Corral. Y'all remember when it was Golden Corral? I was excited to see them pitties and them nickels in the ground. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So, but if you go to the buffet, you can be in there, pay your money, but if you never get up and get a plate and put food in it and put that food in your mouth, you just went to the Golden Corral. You didn't eat that. Right? And so the same thing here with the scripture, he's saying he has sent the anointed to preach. And that's not just to preach the Bible scripture every day, although that's an aspect of it. Preaching is also, in this context, being able to bring a message of healing. That doesn't just mean the King James Version of the Bible. That means mental freedom. That means spiritual freedom. That means physical freedom. That means financial freedom. So if you come by my table in the back and I'll see what I can do about online, there is an opportunity for you to even have a free consultation and a free first session with a personal trainer that's virtual. So don't nobody have no excuse. It's virtual. All you need is the internet and get online and tell me you don't have the internet and then let me see if you got a social media profile. You got the internet and you just use it for what you want to use it for. So we are seeking to take care of the whole person with these resources. Why? Because that Luke 4:18-19 is a commandment. And if God gives the command, he gives the directive, he gives a way for you to follow through with it and an answer. So moving forward to the other part of that is we are not just here to do something because we wanted to be here and shake up Crockett, right? We are here because there are poor here, there are brokenhearted here, there are captives here, there is blind here, and there is bruised here. And here is not just in Crockett, Texas. Here is in that body, soul, and that spirit that we're talking about. That body, soul, and spirit that we're talking about needs a resource, skilled individual that's licensed and trained to be able to address it in whatever areas of weakness that it has. And so when you meet a person who can do a job, then you're gonna get, you get the burnout, you get all of that kind of stuff, and you don't want to talk to them no more. But when you meet a person who is called, who is trained, who is led by the Spirit of God to do these kinds of things, then you come into an encounter with your healing. You come into an experience of your change, but it's going to call you forward to agree with it. It cannot do it for you. So all of the beautiful messaging that you have heard today is a call to action to you to make an action, to do something with what you've heard. So let's talk about why you may not want to do nothing with what you just heard. Why it was just good news, good information, great personalities, love it. Y'all should do this again next time, and I'll be in the room. However, there is something in you that's like, that sounds good, but I'm good. I'm going to go back, take my nap after I leave here. I had a healthy lunch and healthy breakfast because we provided it. But I'm going to go home and I'm going to go cook in all the greases I can find. I'm going to go and I'm going to get all the chip bags. I'm telling them myself. Don't think I'm telling them. All the chip bags that I can find. My family knows I had an affinity for Sour Patch Kid candy. I had to get delivered because my teeth couldn't even take it no more. They was like, we gonna hurt you if you keep on eating these things.
We're gonna leave you alone with that Sour Patch.
The Happy Nice commercial, baby, they was always nice to me. I couldn't eat them no more. So, but what was making me want that Sour Patch Kid candy? It wasn't necessarily just because I like the little cute things to pop in my mouth. It was a response of my body to something. It was a relationship that my body had built with my soul to give it some ease about something. It was a way that my body and my soul was needing to be comforted by my spirit, but I didn't know how to bring it to that. And so what we're going to be looking at is how circumstances around us and circumstances in our lives have taught us how to survive, but it won't let you thrive. It will let you get through every single day of your life, but you won't experience to the fullness that God created. You won't be able to experience it to be empowered as you live, but you will wait to the end of your life and say, I'm gonna experience goodness and glory. Well, what if glory is here for you to live every single day of your life? Yeah. If you agree with Christian principles, if you agree with spirituality, there is a reason why we are spiritual. There is a reason why we are created to engage in multiple dimensions, that body, that soul, that spirit. I'm not being over the top and overly intellectual. We down here in the real world, right? We know what's happening. We got TV, we got social media. So what is happening when we see these circumstances around us? How do we comfort ourselves? How do we help ourselves feel better about and with what we're seeing and what we're experiencing? If we are choosing something that we choose regularly just because it's what we know to choose, you are in likely survival mode. So what makes it necessary to know what survival mode is? Because if you don't know you in it, you're not going to get out of it. Somebody told us that today, right? If we don't know that we're operating in autopilot, doing the same thing every day, I'm, of a certain age here. And I remember the movie Groundhog Day. Anybody remember that movie? That movie made me mad. I was like, can he just do something else? And then I realized what Groundhog Day meant. It meant repeating the same thing over and over. People get just a little bit farther in the day each time, in the events each time, until I don't know what the end is because I got too frustrated. I didn't make it. I might have to just start it at the end to see what happened. But Here, what we're gonna look at for ourselves is the part of our body, that good old soul over there, that may be causing us to end up in a survival state when we were created to thrive. So, excuse me. So what happens to get us in those things? These circumstances. We have a common circumstance of being in the earth. We may look different, we may live in a different space, but everybody, as far as I know, is on this earth that I'm looking at right now that's watching me online. So if you're in the earth, then we have common struggles, and sometimes those common struggles bring common pain. And common pain can connect us to shame. But shame, a lot of what we feel is individual. You feel your own individual level of shame. So say for instance, out here we have the economic issues that's going on in the world. Well, one person's connection to shame may say, well, you don't have a retirement. What you gonna do? Another person may say, you know, you should have started that business, but you felt like you was too stupid to start it, so you didn't do it. Another person, shame connected to the economy, might say that they should have done something some other time with something that they squandered away. What is the issue there? It's rooted in something you cannot change, right? You can't change what you already didn't do. You can only look from now and go forward with what is and what you can acquire, all right? So what is happening here? The way you are reacting, the way you are responding to what is going on is not happening out of nowhere. It's happening in the patterns, in real relationships, under real pressure, when let's go into the body again, your nervous system was doing the best it could do to protect you, the best it could do to make sense of what you are going through and what you're experiencing. So if you ever say, going back to this question, why do I keep doing this when I know better? Why do I keep going to get these Sour Patch Kids down this aisle? I said I wasn't gonna go down to the grocery store. Because you know they put all the junk food on the aisle, you don't have to go there. Ain't no nutrient down there. Okay. So if you drive down that aisle, you're likely gonna get something that you don't need. And so this is the reason why we're going down there, because we have a relationship with our body that's needing comforting, that we're using comfort in that way. We're using the candy, we're using the chips, we're using the alcohol, we're using the cigarettes. And right now, I was trying to get my nails done. And the nail tech couldn't have finished my nails because it needs to go back. And I was like, that's interesting. This is, I don't know, an hour appointment and a very, intricate job. And I'm not shading him because he do whatever he do. I was like, I told you, I'm over here eating candy, okay? But what it let me know is like, we all have something that we're drawn to. And if those things that we're needing are out of balance, then we're gonna lean on that thing that we use to comfort. And it's gonna get more public, and it's gonna get more, it's gonna try to take more of your time, more of your energy, more of your money, and more of your resources. So what may have been done in the private becomes public. So now you're eating candy everywhere. You can't finish me. I've been in the session popping candy because, counseling is stressful sometimes. The other thing, we see the vapes out. People start drinking in public. They can't hide it. Now they got DUIs, DWIs. We see extramarital affairs and all those kinds of things because they're looking for comfort. It's all out there. As we said in the past, the writing is on the wall. We just need to know how to read it. So here we have to reframe this behavior from just something that we're doing and it being a character flaw to something that we're doing to soothe ourselves. A way we're trying to comfort, a way we're trying to heal. So these survival skills, because I don't know if you would call eating candy a survival skill, but that's what it is. If you call an extramarital affair a survival skill, But that's probably why you out there cheating, why you stealing money from the government on your taxes and taxing, because you think that that's something that you need. Has anybody ever heard it in this way before with this language? Survival skills? Let's keep looking. So there's a question that our body, our nervous system is always asking us. Corey did a great job of laying that foundation of that 0 to 5, that 5 to 7, that 7 to 12, that prepubescent age, right? During those ages, there's a lot of transition. She said if you don't handle that coming off the bottle to solid food, guess what? Your body learned a message around how to comfort itself. Your body learned a message about how to think about itself. And how old are you when you're coming off a bottle? Months? You're not even old enough to know what you don't know or what you do know. You're just mad because the bottle you want, they won't give it to you. Or if some of us were given pacifiers. I was talking with someone in a different capacity than this, and they were sharing with me that a person was able to allow their child to stay on a pacifier till 8 years old. You heard me, 8 years old, and it messed up their mouth. Yep. And so the problem with that is multi-dimensional here.
Yes.
We have a parent that allowed a behavior to stay longer than it was necessary, and a child that only could do what the parent allowed, right? So when we're moving forward, because this time is going fast, I agree with you, see if they didn't something. I just got up here, all right? That it is, our body is asking us, are we safe? Is it okay for me to relax here? And oftentimes the answer we give ourselves is no, it's not safe. And that's why we go and do those, things that we are doing. So I know we probably heard this famous statement or whatever we want to call it, the fight, flight, freeze. We've heard that before. It's a quick way to describe what the body is talking about and what the body is doing for you in the stages when it feels unsafe. And that doesn't mean you're about to get robbed or a burglar. What it means is that unsafe in this context means that the emotions, the nervous system is picking up something in the environment, and our being or does not feel comfortable. It feels in distress. And so because it feels in distress, it wants to run. Or in that running doesn't just mean you run away from responsibilities. It can also mean that you get very angry, you get very irritable, you kind of get very defensive. You know, can't nobody tell you nothing, you don't want nobody to tell you nothing. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to stop the harm that the body is feeling. So you're just trying to protect yourself. Back to that again. So and that's, excuse me, I'm trying to explain the fight, not the flight. So that was the fight. So the flight, which is the running, is, and oftentimes that overdoing stuff or leaving situations early, that it has to be perfect or not. And there's no not. You keep trying to make it perfect. The relationship, all the things, you stay busy. Because you know what? Slowing down doesn't feel safe. You going on and relaxing, that word called rest, it eludes you. Not because you can't have it, but because when your body slows down, it starts communicating with you all the things that hurt it. That those emotions start coming forward. And instead of having the capacity to deal with the emotions, you go and eat. You go and you go be with the person. You go and you go buy something from the store. You go to that comforting behavior that was easily accessed because, again, we don't have the capacity yet to deal with that pain. So freezing is the other one. Freezing looks like you're getting stuck, you're overwhelmed. And what's happening here is that you're trying to help yourself by not moving, not doing too much, but what's actually happening is that your body is frozen. You're not lazy, you're trying to find peace, and there isn't any. So what are you doing? Nothing. Trying to get the peace from the nothingness, and it's not there either. So really what we're looking at is how our body keeps trying to fix a situation or a circumstance that we were in before, that we experienced before with right now stuff. What you would have done at 2 years old, which would maybe go get a bottle or crawl up in your parents' arm if it was safe to do so, you're not doing that anymore. If you get a bottle now, it may be soda. I thought I was gonna say alcohol, but sugar is the first addiction.
Right, it is.
So you go and get your soda, you go and get your iced tea. We in the South, we in DV, Texas, you know how to make tea. Not that tea they be having in the bottle, it tastes like dirt. I'm talking about the tea with the sugar. That tea. So we're going to do that because those circumstances, those things that are happening in our life and in our body, we haven't figured out the relationship to change it. So we're doing the adult version of the young thing that we used to do. So if we weren't coddled a lot, we may want to go be by ourselves in the room. But you good 50 years old, baby. What are you doing in there? You got words, you can use them. You can talk. It's all right. But you don't know how, right? Yeah. It's not that you can't, you have the ability to speak, but you don't have the skill set because you haven't resourced. You see where I'm going here? You haven't been resourced to know how to do it effectively, so you default to going to be by yourself. Close the door, be in the room. I ain't hurt nobody, but you are. It's called your own soul. You're hurting. And those who are trained see it and they know how to help you. Those who are not trained see it, but they don't know how to help you. This is where spaces like Mentally Free Summits and other agencies and other community resources are very helpful. I brought up here some things you can buy on Amazon, for those of you who are willing to go on there these days. Little stickers that you can put on your computer, on your drinks, that are actually grounding exercises. This one's in the triangle says focus, calm down, and hold. So what you're doing, this is a deep breath, and what you're doing, you take you're letting your body know it can calm down, and you just take your finger and move your finger across slowly here. Well, I can't take a deep breath in because I'm talking. But you're telling yourself you're calming down. Here you're focusing. What is something you can look at that can have your attention? And you're holding that breath and then you exhale. What are you doing? You are bringing in an energizing breath that is also grounding you. And when you exhale, you're exhaling out all that carbon monoxide, all those things to let your body know that it can actually cycle through the painful moments. It doesn't have to hold them. Have you ever, because I don't know, here lately, while I was preparing for Mentally Free, I was a little bit more easily startled. Somebody walk up behind me, I jump. But that's the body holding in energy. And after I did that jump from being startled, I had to take out, well, a lot of times I chose to exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale out to let my body know you're safe. You're good. This is okay. You just jumped because somebody came in the room. How many of us go back and do that with ourselves when we get started? Not very good. Okay? So why don't we do it? Because it might not have been a resource that was shared with us that made it known to us that it was necessary. So what you have got here today from all of the speakers today is skills, is resources, is information to help you move from one level of your life to the next level of your life in freedom. Yes. Not in survival mode, but in freedom. So I appreciate everyone's attendance today and everyone's attention, because it is not just because we called you here through invitation, but your life called you here because it knew that there was something deeper, something greater that you could experience here. So you partnered with you today. Let's give you a round of applause. The way going forward that you would show up for you. So thank you everyone for your time, for your attention. It is greatly appreciated. I don't take it lightly. I do want to acknowledge our team here because I don't take them lightly either. So we'll start off at the beginning. You know, I can't go too much in because y'all ain't seen me cry. When I do, it be ugly. So I'm gonna myself together up here. But because again, this has been a dream, as Dr. Tiffany put forth, that has been realized. This is not just something that came and we just decided to put it together. This has been boiling and stewing in me since I was at least in high school. And that was, oh God, 20 plus years ago. So over 20 years of boiling, that God had a message and a messenger he wanted to send back here to set his people free. To bring the brokenhearted into wholeness. To let those that are poor know that there is abundance in him and in their life and on this side of heaven. You don't have to wait to get to the next. He gave 20 years of insight, over 20 years of insight to give sight to the blind. And that doesn't just mean physical lack of sight. It means a mental and emotional lack of sight and awareness. He said 20 plus years to prepare for those that are bruised. And you ever had a bruise? It's deep, right? You have to let the blood, oh, come on, I feel it now. The blood comes and it pulls right here and wherever it is, right? And it turns color, but only the blood can clear it. So he allows himself to come in through the vessels that he sends forth to be able to be the antidote or the anointing or the blood to help heal and clear what is being blocked and what has been bruised. And so this is where we cannot just limit ourselves to our now experience and what other people have called us and that we have agreed to, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We have to take those labels off and experience the freedom, not because I said so, but because God said so. He said so. So I was trying to thank Julia, so let me go back. Thank you, Julia, for your time, for all of your energy, for pushing through to say yes when all your nervous system say no. I thank you for your press. For Corey Riley, thank you for your yes and all of the ways that you had to push through the many obligations that you had to show up to say, yes, I'm going to partner with you. Thank you for letting your nervous system show up today. I want to thank Elder Jeff for coming through and allowing himself to fully step forward and into what he has been made for, not just as a mental health coach, but a representation of wellness as a man. Thank you, Elder Jeff, for letting your nervous system show up. For Dr. Raven Milton, you, in the last Mentally Free Summit, you said you were called to be a pharmacist. You knew from a very young age, I never find what that calling. For a young age, and you had to push through your own concerns around talking in front of a group. Now, she talked every day to the people, but we put more than 3 of y'all in the room. She ready to say, am I ready? Yes, you are ready. So thank you, Dr. Raven Milton, for letting your nervous system show up today. And Dr. Tiffany Newsom, now we know that you had to get off the planes and the movement to slow down, to come here and allow the giftings of leadership and of faith. And even before y'all got here, it's beautiful. We got to hear an experience of her walk as a psalmist, a prophetic psalmist before. Y'all, I don't know, she gonna have a video or something for y'all to get later. But I want to thank you for showing up in all the capacity that you are today to help us move into legacy. Because that's not a conversation that's made packaged enough for us to be able to eat. And you did that very well for us today. Thank you for allowing your nervous system to show up today. Y'all gonna thank mine, because mine's gonna be mad, okay? So, Frederica, thank you for your nervous system and allowing you to say yes when everything in me was like, woo, me? When I got that morning and that fire woke me up at 7 a.m. before the alarm, and I heard, go. I'm sending you.
Go.
And here I am. I'm going. So thank you to this nervous system. I'm grateful to Melanie and Xavier, our admins here, and how they have said yes, and the obstacles that they walked through to get here. I didn't get it cleared, so I didn't get it cleared from y'all. Whatever, y'all speak of y'all. Told them to sit. But the other ones, they didn't speak, so I'm not gonna give a testimony, because I will give a testimony for somebody. So, but this is important, not because it is April 11th and we showed up in this room. It is important because this is freedom. So if you agree with your freedom, if you agree with you moving forward, give yourself a hug. That's a bitch, and say to your body, thank you for continuing, and thank you for taking us forward.